The simulation dome on Kethrani Training Station 9 had never registered a heart rate like hers. Sergeant Vrehk Dol stood at the observation rail, 4 eyes narrowing at the biometric feed. Every other recruit in the Joint Coalition program hovered around 90 beats per minute during combat drills. Nervous, adrenaline spiked, normal. The human girl in Bay 7 sat at 61, steady as a held breath. "Emily Carter," he said into the comm, testing the name like it might explain something. "Your readings are malfunctioning," her voice crackled back, flat and calm. "They're not." Vrehk had commanded 3 tours against the Skarn remnant. He'd buried soldiers from 6 different worlds. And in 11 years of running this program, he had never once seen a recruit's pulse drop when the enemy drones spun up. "Reset the scenario," he ordered his tech. "Full aggression protocol. Let's see if the girl from the soft blue world still smiles when it's real." The dome reconfigured around her. Urban ruins, rust-colored sky, 40 armed drones designed to simulate close-quarters ambush. It was supposed to break new recruits. It had broken Tallarans twice her size. It had broken a Gurn warrior who'd killed things with his bare claws. Emily Carter checked her rifle's charge, rolled her shoulders, and walked into the kill box, like she was crossing a parking lot to get groceries. The drones activated in a wall of synchronized gunfire. She was already moving. Vrehk watched the tactical overlay and felt something cold slide down his spine. A feeling 400 years of Kethrani evolution had never quite prepared him for. The girl wasn't dodging randomly. She was reading trajectories half a second before they fired, cutting diagonal lines through impossible gaps, using debris as cover with the unconscious ease of something that had done this 1,000 times before it ever had a name for combat. "Where," he breathed, "did you learn to move like that?" Her answer came through gritted teeth as she put 3 rounds through a drone's optical sensor. "Nowhere. I just never stopped needing to." 12 drones down. Then 20. Vrehk's claws dug into the rail. "This is training!" he snapped into the comm, voice rising with something close to alarm. "Ease off the aggression subroutines. This isn't a real fight. You don't need to—" "It's always a real fight," Emily said. She rolled behind a collapsed pillar as gunfire chewed the air where she'd been standing a heartbeat before. "Where I'm from, Sergeant, everything wants you dead. The weather, the water. The dirt under your boots has 40 ways to kill a child before she turns 5. You don't get a warning label. You don't get a simulation. You get 1 shot to learn, and if you get it wrong, you don't get a second." The last 6 drones converged on her position in a coordinated pincer, a formation Vrehk had personally designed to be unbeatable by anyone below command rank. Emily went to her knees, slid under the crossfire on the rubble-slicked floor, came up inside their formation where none of them could safely fire without hitting each other, and finished it in 4 seconds flat. Silence dropped over the dome like a curtain falling. 40 drones. 6 minutes, 11 seconds. 0 simulated casualties. The tech beside Vrehk stared at his console like it had betrayed him. Sergeant, that's a new station record." "It's not close." Vrehk didn't answer. He was watching Emily Carter stand alone in the wreckage of the exercise. Breathing evenly, rifle lowered, not triumphant. Just finished. The way you'd feel finishing a chore. He keyed the comm again, and this time his voice had lost its edge. "Recruit Carter. Report to the observation deck." She arrived 10 minutes later, hair damp with sweat. Expression unreadable in the way of someone who'd learned early that emotion was a currency you didn't spend carelessly. Vrehk studied her the way he'd study a weapon he didn't yet understand. "I designed that scenario to test coalition officers," he said. "Trained soldiers, veterans, you are 19 years old." "On Earth, 19 is old," Emily said. "We bury people younger than that every day and don't call it tragic. We call it Tuesday." Vrehk's mandibles clicked, the Kethrani equivalent of a wince. "Your world's environmental hostility rating in the Coalition database lists Earth as Category 3, survivable, difficult, but survivable." "Whoever wrote that entry," Emily said, "never had to outrun a wildfire with their little brother on their back. Never watched a flood take a house in 90 seconds. Never learned that thunder isn't a warning, it's already too late. Your drones fire in patterns, Sergeant. Predictable, disciplined, merciful patterns." Her eyes didn't waver. "My planet doesn't warn you before it kills you. It doesn't apologize after. So when you point 40 guns at me and call it training..." She almost smiled. I call it Wednesday. For a long moment, Vrehk said nothing. 4 centuries of Kethrani military doctrine had built this program around a simple assumption that soft worlds produced soft soldiers, and only harsh worlds forged real ones. He'd never expected a Category 3 to walk in and dismantle that assumption in 6 minutes flat. He straightened, folding his hands behind his back the way he did for recruits worth remembering. The Coalition Command will want a full report on this, he said. They'll want to know how a girl from a survivable world outperformed every soldier I've trained in a decade. Emily Carter looked past him at the dome. Already reset, already waiting for the next impossible thing. Tell them the truth, she said quietly. Tell them Earth doesn't make soldiers, Sergeant. It makes survivors. And by the time we're old enough to hold a rifle, we've already survived worse than anything you can build in a simulator. She walked back toward the training bay without waiting for a response, because in her world, you never waited to see if the danger was really over. You just kept moving. You always kept moving.